Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné, and these are the stories making headlines across the continent. It's been hailed as historic. Ethiopia and Somalia agree to end their bitter dispute over Addis Ababa's plans to build a port in Somaliland. For connected future, Congo bets on the 5G technology. Faster speed for new opportunities at a cost of more than 130 million euros. But some ask, is it money well spent? And meanwhile, in neighboring DRC, reading physical books is not always an option. In the eastern region, they are often inaccessible. But now, a local print shop in Goma produces books, mainly by local authors, at affordable prices. Somalia and Ethiopia have reached a deal to end a nearly year-long dispute. The two countries' leaders have agreed to find commercial arrangements to ensure landlocked Ethiopia's access to and from the sea. An agreement reached after talks mediated by Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan welcomes what he calls an historic agreement. Laurent Berstecher has the story.
Turning a new leaf after months of tensions. Following hours of talks in Ankara, Ethiopia and Somalia signed a bilateral cooperation agreement on Wednesday, signaling the two countries' intention to bury the hatchet.
Ethiopia and Somalia are two neighborly countries, and they have mutual interests in cooperating together and building a prosperous future.
The two neighbors had been at loggerheads since January, after Ethiopia signed a controversial deal with Somaliland, a separatist region of Somalia. The deal was believed to provide Addis Ababa access to the sea, in exchange for which it would formally recognize the breakaway territory. Somalia reacted with outrage, branding the agreement a violation of its sovereignty, sparking fears of a renewed conflict in the Horn of Africa. With this new agreement, which was brokered by Turkey, the two countries' leaders pledged to hold a series of technical talks in the near future in order to resolve their differences through diplomatic means.
Ethiopia and Somalia have endured relations for centuries. We are not only neighbors, but brothers and sisters whose fates have been bound by blood.
While the full agreement hasn't been made public, it should allow Ethiopia access to the sea under the authority of Somalia. This would fulfill a long-standing claim by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, whose country has been landlocked since Eritrea declared independence in 1993.
Over 300 people have been arrested in Zimbabwe for alluvial mining. They could face penalties of up to 12 months imprisonment and $5,000 in fine. Last August, government announced a ban on riverbed mining, citing that it was disrupting the ecosystems and causing water pollution. Sharon Mazingaizo traveled to Mazoe, a district 40 kilometers from the capital Harare, to explore how the ban might affect the livelihoods of small-scale miners.
This is a thriving mining community. Small-scale miners spend their days searching for gold, digging the ground. Gold mining has become a lucrative industry in a country facing high unemployment. Alluvial mining is a process of extracting gold deposits from sand, rivers, and streams. I spoke to the miners. They said that the ban on alluvial mining will impact how they put food on the table, how they feed their families. The miners are scared of prosecution from authorities, scared of speaking on the camera, scared of losing their jobs. More than 60% of Zimbabwe's gold is produced by small-scale miners, but due to the environmental damage caused by alluvial mining, the government has banned it. But the miners say the ban leaves them with no other way to earn an income. With high unemployment, limited income, this ban leaves an uncertain future for the country's small-scale miners.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres was in South Africa, the first African country to lead the G20. Guterres said he is currently on a mission of solidarity and a mission of justice, reiterating that Africa needs financial, technology and climate justice. He said, "We cannot repeat the mistakes of the past."
The world must help Africa build green economies anchored in renewable energy. It is an absurdity
that Africa is home to 60% of the world's best solar resources, but only 2% of global investments in solar power. We must change this, and we must ensure that Africa's critical mineral resources that can power the renewables revolution worldwide benefit Africans first and most. We cannot repeat the mistakes of the past.
And in other news, in brief, could death penalty be a thing of the past in Zimbabwe? The Senate has approved a bill to scrap the law, and the death penalty will be abolished if it is signed by the president. President Emerson Mnangagwa has publicly spoken of his opposition to capital punishment. He himself was sentenced to death in the 1960s before the sentence was changed to 10 years in prison. Zimbabwe has more than 60 prisoners currently on death row, and the last time someone was executed was almost 20 years ago. Meanwhile, in Somalia, heavy fighting broke out between federal troops with local forces from Jubaland state. Hundreds of soldiers had been flown in after Jubaland re-elected its president, Ahmed Mohamed Islam Badobe, in a vote last month. The state suspended relations with the federal government last month in a dispute over the election, which Mogadishu had said was illegal. Jubaland officials said their regional fighters captured Ras Kamboni from town and a nearby airport, and many federal government's troops surrendered after Wednesday's fighting. Children in the Democratic Republic of Congo will soon be able to get vaccinated against Mpox. 3 million doses should arrive next week and will be used on children aged 0 to 5. Vaccinations against the potentially deadly infection are already underway in DR Congo, the epicenter of the outbreak, but there have been no shots available for children who are particularly vulnerable to Mpox. More than 44% of the confirmed Mpox cases are children under 15 years old. And that's from the latest Africa CDC data. The Republic of Congo, also known as Congo-Brazzaville, has become the first country in Central Africa to launch a 5G internet network. Beyond dramatically faster speeds and lower latency, 5G is a catalyst for meaningful progress, offering new opportunities in education, healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, and entrepreneurship. So to some, the arrival of faster internet speeds is a godsend. But for others, it's more critical. A report by Emmett Livingstone and Vivas Mambuana.
In this medical clinic in the capital, Brazzaville, Dr. Jean-Daniel Ovaga is delighted with the arrival of 5G. With a faster, more reliable internet connection, the doctor hopes to carry out medical consultations remotely.
This 5G is now making it possible to provide an equitable therapeutic solution with scientific precision of excellence. And so we welcome the arrival of 5G.
But not everyone is happy. Adam Tombe, a graphic designer, thinks 5G will speed up his work doing 3D animations, but he's worried about high connection costs.
Pour moi, en fonction de mes activités, l'arrivée de la 5G.
To be honest, if it costs 10,000 francs for 25 giga, knowing that I can use up to 100 giga a day, I don't think that would be possible for me.
Data remains inaccessible to many, and the 5G network will raise the cost of consumers' data plans by about 10%, according to a price comparison. Civil groups in the country say that rolling out the network should not have been a priority.
5G is not good news. We expect hospitals to be built. We expect job creations to be announced, factories to be created. We want electricity. We expect the Congolese to have running water in their taps.
According to the internet provider MTN, Congo-Brazzaville is the first country in Central Africa to launch a 5G network. Operational in the capital and another large city, Pointe-Noire, the network is set to be rolled out to the rest of the country gradually.
And in neighboring DRC, books are largely considered a luxury in a conflict-hit eastern region. Many readers are deterred by a lack of accessibility and of relatable stories, a problem that a local print shop in Goma is hoping to address by producing and selling books mainly by local authors at affordable prices. And Laurent Belsécher tells the story.
Page by page, the book slowly comes out of the printer under the watchful eye of Martin Lukongo. His small print shop is located in Goma, a city in eastern DRC better known for the endless conflicts that surround it than for its literary production. a cliché which this former photographer is now hoping to tackle, one book at a time.
I'm able to provide quality products locally and at a good price. And it's great to see that young people are motivated to read books nowadays.
Despite frequent electricity blackouts and a lack of materials, Lukongo is able to print up to 60 books a day. His main client, Goma-based publisher Mlimani, which was founded by a local collective of activists. It seeks to offer affordable books up to 10 times cheaper than those printed abroad in order to reconcile young people with reading and with African authors.
It's not just intellectual curiosity, it's mostly about awareness. We don't just read anything, we read books that help us understand the reality we live in.
The publisher also hosts a local book club where young people come to discuss their latest read. Today's book is called History of the Congo.
It's not that Congolese people don't read, they just want to find books that fit their image and that speak to their story.
Less than 2 years after its launch, Mlimani's catalog already boasts a dozen books, mostly by Congolese authors. Since then, several other small publishing companies have opened in Goma, paving the way for the next generation of readers and of writers.
One book at a time. And this concludes our edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to France 24 for more news.
Every week, Mark Perelman talks one-on-one to a personality at the heart of the news.
And of course, we will continue to closely monitor Russia and what they do.
We are a people who want to be free, who want to have a democracy, and who want justice in the country.
There are still these responsibilities of the world that are kept.
Great, so hear the views that matter in Tête-à-Tête every week on France 24 and France24.com.
The descriptions there was written that you shouldn't point it directly in the eyes, but I don't care.
So how the crowd is reacting when we write some words, for example, noisy. We are just writing noisy and people are noisy.
რამიზანია რო დავყავოთ პოლიცია, რო დავანახოთ, ეს არის ჩვენი ბოლო გამოსავალი, რადგან პოლიცია გადასცა ყველანაირ საზღვრებს. On the wrong side of the history, first of all, and they're against the majority of the people of Georgia, so I try my best what I can do.
Personne convoquée à 9h, s'il vous plaît. Vous pouvez vous présenter dans la queue.
C'est la difficulté du métier de juge d'asile, d'essayer d'approcher la vérité.
Les gens supposent que ces gens-là viennent pour prendre leur place, pour manger leur pain.
De protéger ceux qui doivent l'être, de ne pas protéger ceux qui ne doivent pas l'être.
Si eux étaient placés dans leur situation, ils demanderaient exactement la même chose.
Je ne sais pas ce que l'OFPRA comprend. Ils ne veulent pas comprendre.
Le récit qu'il en a fait à l'audience n'était pas le même que celui qu'il a fait à l'OFPRA.
Ils savent comment un mot peut tout changer.
Reporters Plus, The Hearing, Inside France's Asylum System, on France 24.